Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depende kung ano oras. So, I'm discussing the propulsive behavior ni Edward C. Tolman. So, pag-usapan muna natin to si Edward Tolman. Uh, Pinanganak siya noong April 14, 1886 at namatay siya noong November 19, 1959. So, ito yung background niya sa pag-aaral. Nag-aaral siya sa Massachusetts Institute of Technology or MIT, receiving PS in electrochemistry in 1911, and also received the PhD from Harvard University in 1915. So, magtataka tayo, bakit electrochemistry tapos nag-end sa psychology, no? So, meron siyang kwento, bakit nangyari yun. Nung nabasa ni Edward Tolman ang libro ni William James, which is yung Principle of Psychology, nag-decide siya na i-abandon ng physics, chemistry, and mathematics para pag-aralan ang philosophy and psychology. And after that, uh, nagturo siya ng psychology sa University of California, Berkeley. And also, guys, bago siya naging psychologist, meron dapat siyang mamanahin na company. Pero, nagpaalam siya sa kanyang mga magulang, sa pamilya, na hindi tatanggapin yung ipapamana at gusto niya maging psychologist. At yun yung nangyari. Pinayagan naman siya at sinuportahan ko ng kanyang pamilya. And after that, he founded one of the branch of psychology known as purposive behaviorism. So, what is purposive behaviorism? Tolman believed that the behavior is not merely a series of stimulus response events, but it is instead goal-oriented. Individual engage in behaviors with the intention of achieving special goals. So, ano daw ibig sabihin yun? So, um, may, may one goal or directed goal yung purposive behavior. So, for example, merong isang teacher, tapos inutusan yung student na pumunta sa library at i-ayos yung mga libro. So, nagkakaroon ng directed goal. Yun yung pag-orient sa mga libro. So, yun yung purposive behavior. So, isa pang example, bakit tayo nag-CCTV para makapag-board exam, makapasa ng board exam. So, yung directed goal. Then, cognitive maps. Tolman introduced the concept of cognitive maps, mental representations of physical environment that help individuals navigate and achieve their goals. These maps allow for more flexible and adaptive behaviors. For example, um, pipikit ka, and then imagine mo na nasa harap ka na ng bahay mo, kahit wala ka dun ha. Imagine mo na nasa harap ka ng bahay mo, pasok ka ng pinto, papasok ka ng kwarto. So, alam mo, kahit wala ka dun, alam mo kung paano makakapunta. Yun yung cognitive maps. Kumbaga, yung mapa is nasa brain mo lang. Next, latent learning. According to Tolman, learning can occur without immediate reinforcement. This latent learning becomes apparent when an incentive is introduced, demonstrating that learning can happen without being directly observable at the time. So, latent learning. So, yun yung latent learning is yun yung learning or yung alam natin na hindi nakakita physically. Kumbaga, ano, naka-stack lang siya sa brain natin. For example, mayroong student na nasugatan. And then, siyempre, ano bang dapat gawin natin as a teacher? Diba? Mag-first aid. Pero, nagulat si teacher na mayroong isang bata na naglalapat ng first aid dun sa batang nasugatan. Yun yung tinatawag na latent learning. Kumbaga, hindi alam ni teacher na marunong siyang mag-first aid, pero nagamit niya dahil stock knowledge siya. Kumbaga, hindi naman siya pwedeng lagi niyang gamitin dahil wala naman lagi nasusulatan. So, yun yung latent learning. Then, intervening variables. Stallman proposed the use of intervening variables, internal states such as expectations and cognitive processes. Explain how stimuli lead to a certain behavior. These variables mediate between stimulus and response, providing a more comprehensive understanding of behavior. So, intervening variables. May mga variables na nakaka-apekto sa behavior natin. For example, um, nagkaroon ka ng expectation sa mga bagay. For example, sa quiz, may expect ka, kasi hindi ka pumasa. So, anong magiging behavior? Maiinis ka. So, pag naiinis ka, ang makikita ng mga tao sa'yo is nakasimangot. So, parang yun yung magiging intervene na sa pagiging ano mo, sa behavior mo. Yun yung mga nagiging response sa behavior mo dahil nga nagkaroon ka ng expectations. So, may example tayo. Ito yung scenario. A student navigating a new school environment. A student arrives at a new school and initially doesn't know where the library is located. The student explores the school, observing various landmarks and corridors. Over time, the student forms a cognitive map of the school's layout. So, latent learning and cognitive, even without, yan nga yung sinasabi ko, even without visiting the library, the student has learned its general locations through observation and exploration. One day, the student needs to find a book for an assignment. So, yun yung incentives niya kasi makagagawa niya yung assignment niya. Using their cognitive map, the student navigate directly to the library without having been directly guided or enforced, demonstrate latent learning and use of a cognitive map. So, alin yung latent learning doon? So, yung bata, dahil bago lang siya sa school, uh, na-explore niya yung lugar, then nakita niya kung nasaan yung location ng library, yun yung yun yung cognitive map. Yun yung cognitive map. Cognitive map. Kumbaga, kahit hindi siya pupunta doon, alam niya na nandun yung ah, library. And then yung latent learning, ginamit niya. Kumbaga, naka-stuck na niya na kaya niyang pumunta doon kahit hindi pa niya napuntahan. Ah, okay? Yung purposive behavior, the student's behavior in finding the library was goal-directed, driven by the purpose of picking a book for an assignment. So, um, educational implication. Number one, understanding student motivation. Teachers can recognize that students may learn and understand more than they outwardly demonstrate, especially when they are not immediately incentivized. So number two, importance of exploration and discovery, encouraging students to explore and engage with their environmental community for the development of cognitive maps and latent learning. Number three, na implications, incorporating goals in learning. Setting clear and meaningful goals can motivate students and give purpose to their learning activities, leading to more intentional and directed behavior. So number four, considering internal states. Teachers should consider students' internal states such as their expectations and motivations when planning lessons and activities such as these factors can significantly influence learning outcomes. So yun yung mga implication na magagamit natin itong purposive behaviors. So yung conclusion, Stallman purposive behaviorism offers a valuable perspective on understanding behavior by acknowledging the cognitive processes and goals underlying actions. This theory bridges the gap between behaviorism and cognitive psychology, providing a more nuanced view of how learning occurs. So, um, si Tolman, hindi niya ina-accept yung stimulus response theory. Ang ina-accept niya is reinforcement is not always required for learning. Pero after ng kanyang experiment, nabago yun. So, dito na yung papasok. Ito na yung 12 months maze experiment. So, ito yung kanyang maze na ginawa na nag-experiment siya ng mga rat para sa purposive behavior. So, ito yung kwento. Yung group 1, um, nilagay niya to sa maze na to na merong food reward. Actually, group 1 and 2 lang talaga yung ginawa ni Coleman. And then yung group 2, no food reward. So, iisipin natin, sino yung unang makakatapos sa end ng week? Siyempre, yung group 1 kasi meron silang nare-receive ng reward. Ngayon, nag, base sa record ni Tolman, ito yun, ang dami pa rin nagiging error kahit na lagi silang nagkakaroon ng reward. Then dito na pumasok yung group 3. Kumbaga wala talaga siya sa eksena, pinasok ko lang. So ito na yung tinatawag na delayed reward. So magkakaroon lang sila ng reward after 10 days. So ito na yung lumabas sa ito, ito na yung lumabas sa experiment niya, sa data. So ito yung nasa baba, yung nasa x-axis, yung days. And then sa y-axis, yung average error. So kung mapapansin nyo, itong group 1 and group 2, ah, no, yung group 1 and group 3, ito, sa cursor, kung mapapansin nyo, maraming halos pantay yung error at halos the same. Pero nung nabigyan ng rewards, biglang bumaba yung error. Kaya nung lumabas sa experiment ni Tolman na pwede mag-reward pero delayed reward. So yun yung group 3. So dito lumalabas yung purposive behavior na um, yung mga rat, yung mga rat dahil lagi nila itong nadadaanan kahit wala silang reward, kahit na-delay yung reward, natandaan nila. Pero nung nabigyan sila ng reward, mas na-appreciate nila yon at mas madali nilang natatapos yung maze. So, ito na yung end ng discussion about behaviorism. So, meron ako dito mga question. Ito, possible to na lumabas sa board exam. Question number 1, a teacher observed that students seems to navigate the school building more efficiently after a few days. This behavior is best explained by which of Tolman's concept. Letter A, stimulus response schemes. Letter B, classical conditioning. Letter C, cognitive maps. Letter D, operant conditioning. So I will give you 5 seconds to answer this question. Okay. Ito yung answer. Nandito na rin yung mga keyword. So ang sagot is cognitive maps. Question number 2. The student solved a complex problem after multiple failed attempts without receiving explicit guidance. Which concept from Tolman's theory does this situation exemplify? Letter A, trial and error learning. Letter B, insight learning. Letter C, latent learning. Letter D, operant conditioning. Okay, 5 seconds ulit para masagot yung question. So the answer is latent learning. Question number 3. In an experiment, rats ran through a maze without a reward but learn to navigate it accurately when food is placed at the end. This scenario best illustrates which aspect of 12 months duty. Letter A, industrial conditioning. Letter B, classical conditioning. Letter C, latent learning. Letter D, extinction. The answer. We'll give you 5 seconds ulit para sagutan yung question. So the answer is letter C, latent learning. Okay, question number 4. How can Tolman's concept of purposive behavior be applied in a classroom setting to enhance student engagement? Letter A, by focusing solely on rote memorization tasks. Letter B, by setting clear learning objectives and rules. Letter C, by minimizing student choice and autonomy. Letter D, by providing only extrinsic rewards for participation. Okay, 5 seconds ulit. Pasagutin yung question. The answer is letter D. So, thank you guys sa pakikinig.